What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, the new spy action comedy film from Guy Ritchie, starring Henry Cavill, Alan Ritchson, and Eiza González. And this is Guy Ritchie's fifth film since 2020. And to me, actually, I think it's the best one of the bunch. Guy Ritchie has just been incredibly prolific. To me, it's quite amusing that Guy Ritchie, immediately after taking the Disney bag to make Aladdin in 2019, was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to do my thing and make all these mid-budget action movies. And it's been pretty solid results. Ultimately, we haven't gotten a, action like cult classic the way like Snatch or Lock, Stock, were received when those movies came out. But I think by and large, this run of The Gentleman, Wrath of Man, Operation Fortune, The Covenant, and now the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, it's been a pretty solid run. And Guy Ritchie is continuing to be very prolific. He already has another movie finished coming out in January called In the Gray, and he's currently filming another movie right now called Fountain of Youth. So this will continue, and I think it's pretty fun. And the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, this is a $60 million action film, and I think despite its limitations, with like a modest budget more or less, it's still pretty credible and fun for what it is. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Guy Ritchie's latest action comedy film, it's a really fun time. I have to say I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. It's really lacking in character development, really any kind of characterization, but despite all that, it's kind of just fun to watch Winston Churchill's, secret goon team, a group we didn't even know about until this was declassified in 2016, to watch these goons very fictionally execute Operation Postmaster and try and take down the Nazi U-boat program during World War II. Henry Cavill never got to play James Bond. What did he do instead? He decided to play the real-life inspiration for James Bond. And to put a finer note on that, Ian Fleming, of course, creator of James Bond, is actually in this movie. It's a fun time. I think Eiza González is quite enjoyable as well as a spy femme fatale. Alan Ritchson of Amazon's Reacher fame, really convincing as a murderous Swedish archer. Henry Golding, charming as well. Alex Pettyfer's here. It's pretty fun. I actually quite enjoyed Eiza González's screen partner for much of the movie, which would be Babs Oluzmakun as Mr. Heron, who's kind of like a fixer, undercover agent type character. And that's an actor who should be familiar to many because he played Jamis in Dune Part 1 particularly. He's great in the film, and Eiza is great as well. I think we've been kind of waiting and hoping for Eiza González to really kind of pop and find, a lane in Hollywood post kind of the Baby Driver breakout of many years ago at this point. And this felt like a good use of her talent as like this singer, actor, spy character. She was really fun in this movie, very convincing. Her scenes with Babs, her scenes with the villain of the movie, like the Nazi commandant, those are all quite good, quite crackling. And I think Eiza probably agrees about this because she's going to be in the next two Guy Ritchie movies, the one coming out in January and the one currently filming. So that's pretty fun. Because it's a modest, action comedy film, there's only so many set pieces, right? There's really two. You have kind of the end of Act 1 where the crew has to go save or rescue the already captured Joffrey Appleyard character played by Alex Pettyfer. And that involves the goons going after and taking down this Nazi, prison camp on an island in like broad daylight. And it's just mayhem. Like I think the humor angle to this movie is pretty consistent where like Cavill's characters like don't forget to have fun and they really don't. We're just watching like brazen ultra violence throughout this movie as they just slaughter Nazis at abandon, with reckless abandon. The body count is incredibly high. And I think that scene's a lot of fun. Once we get though to like the main location of the movie, which is the West African island Fernando Po. At this time, it's a Spanish colony, so it's technically neutral territory during the days of World War II before the American involvement. And there it's pretty funny. You have like Spanish characters, of course, all the Nazis everywhere. We have our undercover spies, and then we have like the main goon crew, Churchill's goons, showing up. They're on their way. So in a sense, it's kind of multiple threads going on at once in the movie. And I think the kind of final set piece as they achieve their mission, it's fun. The stealing of the boat once they realize they can't blow it up, it's fun. The problem is like it's very dark. It's happening at night, strategically speaking. But the movie's like a tad underlit. I have to say it's kind of hard to follow some of the action once things really start to pop off, but I still thought it was pretty enjoyable. And I think this stuff, back in England, back at home, with Carrie Elways as M and Freddie Fox as Ian Fleming and Rory Kinnear as Churchill. It's like very thin, it's very basic, it's very surface level, but like honestly everything is kind of thin in the movie. You're really only watching this for the humorous action and the brazen killing. There's really nothing else to really latch onto with it. Nothing's gonna really surprise you about the plotting. At the end, you get Churchill saying the title of the film, basically the "I'm putting a team together" film, as he realizes he has this team, and of course all these characters in real life were sent on various other missions, and of course it's a very fictionalized portrayal of this real life war event, but it's almost set up for like an amusing chance for a sequel. I don't see that happening by any stretch, given this movie is opening to mid-single digits millions wise in the US, so we can put that away, but amusing enough. And yeah, I think it's the best of the Guy Ritchie run of 5, the post-COVID Guy Ritchie films. I think it's definitely the most just broadly entertaining of the bunch. Perhaps you might defer to some of the humor in The Gentleman. It's a bit more unique. It's a bit more layered. But I think the action in this film is pretty consistent, and the script is incredibly basic. But this is just kind of a solid, down the middle Lionsgate action film, and he has some decent star power. I think again, Eiza González and Henry Cavill pop quite well. So, for what this movie is, and really I think he's had to treat it for what it is, a movie like this, I think it's successful. But let me know, what you think about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare? How would you rank it compared to all the other recent Guy Ritchie films? And for more movie reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.